Welcome to the top 16 of the North American World Championship Qualifier. For this top 16 feature match, we have Chester Henson using his Burning Abyss deck against Miguel Soto and his Ritual Beasts. I'm Michael Kohanem, and I'm here with Jerome McHale and Robert Boyajian to give you commentary on this feature match. We joined it in progress, and Soto has summoned Spiritual Beast Canahawk, activate its effect to banish Wen from his deck, and then set 3 cards to his back row, and now play has passed to Henson, who has summoned the Mathematician.
Ooh. And he's met with Macrocosmos.
Yeah.
Since Mathematician's effect is already active, he's going to have to banish something from his deck.
That's unfortunate. Opening up with Macrocosmos, especially because it's limited, is one way to easily win the Burning Abyss matchup. And unlike Dimensional Fissure that he would have to play on his first turn, the fact that he gets to respond to the Mathematician to basically completely trade for the Mathematician's effect rather than Henson being able to hold the Mathematician in his hand knowing that there's a Dimensional Fissure also lets him gain a little bit more advantage, so that's really cool.
And here's the scary thing if you're Chester Henson. You've got 0 Mystical Space Typhoons or other spell cards that you can play to get rid of that Macrocosmos.
That is scary.
Yeah. You have to rely on your traps, and most of them are discard-related traps, so you lose yet another card to the Macrocosmos.
It looks like
I guess Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss wouldn't be the worst way to get rid of it.
It would be pretty bad, because then you'd lose 2 of your Burning Abyss monsters to it instead of just 1.
They would get banished, but you still get to destroy additional cards in addition to the Macrocosmos. So it's less than ideal, but not insurmountable.
The Mathematician's attack is blocked by Fiendish Chain.
The cleanest way seems to be there's only 2 copies of Phoenix Wind Blast, and there's no copies of Raigeki Break, but there are 2 copies of Karma Cut. So, and what's also interesting about Henson's list is that he plays Traveler of the Burning Abyss, which isn't very popular at all, but that shows how much more reliant he is on the graveyard than maybe the standard Burning Abyss deck.
Right, so this is kind of his worst nightmare.
Exactly.
2 face-down cards join the Mathematician, and we're back to Soto. One turn has passed for Canahawk's ability, and now it's activated yet again.
So, Spiritual Beast Canahawk is effectively Gold Sarcophagus for
Ritual Beasts.
Okay.
Yeah. Sends Ritual Beast Tamer Elder this time.
Yeah. So every turn that it stays face up, he gets basically another card in his hand, or virtually another card if he waits a little while. That's
he doesn't even need to wait most of the time, because the way the fusing tricks work is after you fuse your Ritual Beast ulti monster, you split it back up into banished monsters. So each of those can be used right now if he has a Tamer.
Okay, so you don't really use it to add cards to your hand, but you're trying to set up your combos with Spiritual Beast Ulti Canahawk faster, basically?
Right. It's usually better if you don't get them back to your hand. Though Wen is a card that you do want, so you can summon it and get its own ability.
And Wen is special summon a...
Banished.
Banished? Okay.
Banished Spiritual Beast.
All right, so it's... All right.
Spiritual Beast Apelio joins the party and attacks into and destroys Mathematician.
He's also very conservative there by Soto, switching the Canahawk into defense mode.
Right, he doesn't want to get blown out by Mirror Force.
Yeah. That's a lot of reserve, especially...
There's been a lot of people really fearing the Mirror Force today, even in decks that don't really have it ever. Like, a lot of people have been playing against Necros as if they've been setting Mirror Force.
People have been fearing Mirror Force since its release in Metal Raiders.
Very true. It was that.
I think very recently I've been hearing a lot of talk about Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute and how effective they are against Necros, and even players main decking them for the Mirror match just because they think the Mirror Force is something chainable, so they won't try to Necros of Trishul it, and then they just get blown out by it. So it would make sense that a deck that is so dedicated on using a heavy trap lineup like Burning Abyss might include Mirror Force.
Dark Hole is activated, destroying both of the monsters on Soto's field and banishing them.
Yes.
And Fiendish Chain is gone too. That was on the Mathematician.
Everything's banished. Why does he have so many banished?
A lot of different banished piles.
You only need 1.
I guess the Wens, he needs to keep track of when the Wens are coming to his hand, but besides that, yeah.
I don't think that's the way to do it, though.
Indeed, I agree. The Fiendish Chain should most definitely just be with the other ones.
All right, so monster face down on Henson's side after the Dark Hole, and he passes back to Soto. Time's up on the first. Monster banished by that Canahawk, and Wen is added to his hand. Now that it's been normal summoned and he's got plenty of Spiritual Beasts banished, he can start the shenanigans.
Yeah, it seemed like Dark Hole actually didn't do very much at all there because he gets the Canahawk right back into play from the win. So here's Conrad probably banishing the Canahawk.
Canahawk summoned by Ritual Beast Tamer Wen. Karma Cut activated. Discarding. Oh, that is the Traveler in the Burning Abyss. Yeah. If you've never seen that card before, it's kind of like a Return from a Different Dimension style card, but only for Burning Abyss cards that were Burning Abyss monsters that were sent to your graveyard this turn.
I think the most comparable card is Abyss Squall.
Oh yeah, that is right.
It's like very similar in that you get monsters there in defense mode, and you usually use it to like set up synchro or Xyz plays, but actually synchro plays in Burning Abyss.
Sure.
But yeah.
I think there was a card in the 10th anniversary movie that special summoned all monsters that are destroyed that turn, or sent to the graveyard in a given turn.
When attacks into a face down Skarm, 500 damage to Soto.
Yeah, luckily Soto had Skarm, because that's obviously the highest Burning Abyss monster, so assuming that, or if, my bad, Henson had Skarm, but if Soto has another monster, he can obviously attack over the Skarm, but at least it buys him a little bit of time, and he can possibly make an Exceed here. If he plays Wind-Up Zen Mains, that might be a way to hopefully deal with Macrocosmos, but at the same time, you have to be worried about cards like Fiendish Chain with those 2 back, or anything that can just get rid of Zen Mains, because it's not exactly the safest play either.
What we got is Ritual Beast Steeds, which is going to break up any Xyz summon play. Ooh. Takes out Skarm. Skarm is now banished, and that leaves Graf on the field to deal with Wen, which he's not big enough to do.
I mean, it's fine. It's because these are I understood what you said. These are useful.
Regekis activated next. That'll get Wen banished.
And then the other monster he banished with Canahawk was Elder.
Elder. Okay. That's 2 normal summons.
Yeah.
Graf attacks directly. And Henson seems to be thinking, well, maybe I've run you out of monsters and you just aren't going to draw anymore. Yeah, other than the Elder that you get back.
Or that 1 card in hand that he also did not set. So I guess he could have possibly been playing around Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss, not trying to commit extra cards, but it seems unlikely to me that he wouldn't just commit as many spell and traps as he could.
And he picks up Spiritual Beast Canahawk to go with that Elder.
Ooh. He was pretty good. Now that he has a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast on the field,
and that's it.
He's able to
see, he opened 2 copies of Traveler of the Burning Abyss facing down that Macrocosmos. I think if Henson maybe would have been able to go first that game, setting up a Dante, getting some Travelers in the graveyard.
Yeah, it would have been completely different.
Or at least getting some Burning Abyss triggers.
Yeah, that Macrocosmos really shut Henson down.
Yeah.
If he can do the same thing again, he'll be moving on to the top 8.
Well, Henson at least gets a shot to go first, and he gets a shot to put his Mystical Space Typhoons in.
That's critical here.
He's also got Max C's.
Yeah.
We're likely to see.
Card's very good against the Ritual Beast deck.
Vanity's Fiend, probably not, right? There are too many ways to destroy
heavy traps,
deck, especially in Ritual Beasts.
Defusion, is that a no because they can respond with their effects
to break the monsters?
Can you? But would you chain it to their effect to break away? Maybe that's the best way to use it.
Don't they flee the field as part of the
cost?
Oh, that's very strong. But yeah, I actually think we commented on Henson not using Mystical Space Typhoon before, and I don't necessarily think that's the worst way to build a Burning Abyss deck right now, because you have cards like Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss, and really the deck you want Mystical Space Typhoon the most for is a strategy like Cliff Fort.
Yeah.
And Burning Abyss traditionally has the best Cliff Fort matchup among all of the decks because of cards like Fire Lake and then all of that. So knowing that your field is going to be Necroz, which is a lot of just trapless, and then Cliff Fort is probably the second most, or close to the second most popular strategy. I don't think not making Mystical Space Typhoon was a mistake necessarily, but he just got a little unlucky that he got paired against Ritual Beast, the one deck that can effectively use Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure, and he opened with it.
We see here that he did side in all 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon and also put in copies of Max C. Both of those cards very effective against Ritual Beast decks.
Yeah. Speaking of C's, I think we're going to see Flying C come in over on Soto's side, which is just another one of those cards that can just totally stop Henson's deck.
Soto has 2 copies of Flying C in his side deck, so if he came prepared for Burning Abyss, Flying C is fairly obnoxious to play against if you're using a Burning Abyss deck. your opponent can special summon it to your own field, and after he does, you can't exceed summon monsters. More importantly, for a Burning Abyss deck, all Burning Abyss monsters, or all of the Burning Abyss monsters included in the main deck, destroy themselves with their own effects if you control a non-Burning Abyss monster, and that Flying Sea that your opponent gifted to you is a non-Burning Abyss monster. So, timed correctly, you can summon it in a way that wipes your opponent's field clear, prevents them from summoning any more monsters, since those Burning Abyss monsters would also destroy themselves after it sees the Flying Sea, and your opponent can't exceed summon. Yeah. So, it's a tough card to beat.
Yeah, at one point we also saw people, like in addition to Flying Sea, back when Burning Abyss was super huge. We even saw Ojama Trio.
Yes.
And in particular, I think it was Burning Abyss itself that used a lot of Ojama Trios. Just to clog everything up and get a little extra damage in too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When you activate, like Ojama Trio doesn't seem like the best card on the surface, but when you activate, you're usually trading for a couple cards anyway, because they lose a Burning Abyss or two. So it's not necessarily like you're losing any economy in the transaction, but just the fact that it hinders them for a turn, and then they're stuck with these Ojamas in the play that aren't going to do too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can get the extra 300 for each.
Yeah.
And,
so
300 for a card. That's Barber. That's what Barber does.
It looks like Soto opened up with 2 copies of Elder, a Rampengu, a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and forgot what the 5th card was.
Henson doesn't look very happy because he's opened up with his 1 copy of Good and Evil in the Burning Abyss.
Yeah, I saw that.
She only wants to send that to the graveyard with Kagna, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss, who could use its effect from the graveyard.
I mean, you could always discard it with that Karma Cut.
Yeah, but normally you want your Karma Cut discarding your Mail Branches.
Right.
So I guess here he can send Libic, and then Libic special summons the, Libic special summons the Skarm from his hand. So he can use the Karma Cut effectively, I guess. But even then, that would probably mean that he's searching Tour Guide during the end phase rather than something like Sir to keep his, just kind of like Dante, Sir cycle
you need to
going.
keep the flow of monsters going.
Yeah. And Tour Guide even though Tour Guide seems like a very strong card on the surface, it's not necessarily the best at doing that because any effect negation can just stop it right there, and then you're stuck with a non-Burning Abyss monster.
Farm goes to the graveyard. Raigeki, Torrential Tribute, and Max C sent to the graveyard for Dante's ability. No luck there.
Yeah. How good are mass destruction effects such as Raigeki and Torrential Tribute against Ritual Beast?
Against Ritual Beast, if you can catch them in a state where they have a lot of the basic Ritual Beasts on the field, and they're trying to bait you into play with Ritual Beast Steeds or something, then they're quite good.
Okay.
The spells in particular are great because even if your opponent is running the fusions on the field right there, like if they leave Canahawks in defense position, which you see sometimes, even if they split them up, those new monsters will be destroyed as well. And if they don't have an ambush, you're not getting them back for a while.
So then Soto must be pretty happy that he saw Raigeki and Torrential Tribute.
Yep.
You see Chaos Trap Hole in Soto's hand.
Is that a Chaos Trap Hole or Shadow Imprisoning Mirror?
Shadowing Imprisoning Mirror would make more sense because I don't really think that.
But there's a single copy of Chaos Trap Hole thing. Do you think
there is a single copy of Chaos Trap Hole in the side deck?
I guess you can catch Tour Guide from the Underworld. Like that's
yeah, you'd catch Dante too, I guess.
Oh yeah,
because it banishes the monster.
Yeah. It's not that bad, I guess. If he's just looking for cards to side in, Chaos Trap Hole is probably fine. They usually search the Tour Guide every game at Skarm with 1 point, so like, if you open with a Chaos Trap Hole, you'll probably find something to use it on.
Okay, so yes, I think you're right. There's a Chaos Trap Hole. So he sets that alongside a Debunk and a Ritual Beast Steeds.
Debunk is pretty handy here.
Yeah.
Yes, that was also sided in from his side deck. He has 2 copies of that in his side deck. So it looks like he sided fairly heavily against Burning Abyss.
Elder was normal summoned, followed by Rampengu, but the Rampengu was banished by Karma Cut and plays back to Henson, who's going to lose Dante to Ritual Beast Steeds. That'll get him back a Burning Abyss card from the graveyard.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And he also has the Good and Evil in the graveyard.
Yeah, because he discarded it for Karma Cut. He's just going to debunk
so
the
he's using
Dante.
Debunk to negate the Dante's effect and banish it from the duel.
And 2 cards to get rid of the Dante.
Yeah, that's rough.
And it's important to get rid of, but that hurts a lot.
Yeah, he's going to have trouble protecting that Ritual Beast Tamer Elder.
That last back row got to be something good.
Well, it's a Chaos Trap Hole, so...
Hopefully he just gets caught on the Dante, or he's already used the effects of the Mail Branches that are under it or something along those lines.
Right.
But we'll see. The Good and Evil is definitely going to be very powerful here because he gets to banish it, discard the graph, and then Good and Evil lets him add a Burning Abyss card from his deck to his hand?
Any Burning Abyss card.
So he can add Fire Lake or Traveler too, right?
Right.
Oh, that's really powerful.
Yeah, so
And then he'll get the effective graph after that resolves.
Yep. Looks like Henson's in good shape.
Yeah, especially this game. I
mean,
mean,
not note that the graph summon can't be hit by Chaos Trap Hole.
Oh, yes, yes,
coming
because
at
it's
the resolution of an effect.
Yep, it's not an inherent summon.
Summons the Skarm from the deck and takes Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss for the effect of Good and Evil. Yeah, so things have turned around for Chester Henson.
With this simplified of a field, it seems like Fire Lake could easily just take over the game if he can successfully tribute the Sir. And or I guess he could just,
he normal summons
the
Sir. Now he's vulnerable to the Chaos Trap Hole.
And since Skarm is in defense, he's not going to be able to run over
the
Elder.
Oh,
that was a good Chaos Trap Hole. I was going to consider waiting for the to see if he would have Exceed Summoned Dante. But yeah, but then the Seer still hasn't triggered.
Right.
So then it would get its effect, and then you don't even know if he's going to Exceed Summon Dante because he already has Fire Lake.
And then you know that Elder's gone. Because he'll be destroyed by whatever summoned by Graph.
Yeah, now all Soto needs is to pick up a Spiritual Beast.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs. He needs to summon one of his ulti monsters. Particularly Canahawk.
Has got another Ritual Beast Tamer Elder.
It's less than ideal.
No help there, but it's an extra normal summon. And he activates Ritual Beast's Bond.
That's really good.
Targets two.
It targets two
spiritual or ritual beasts.
And unless you fusion
any
summon.
combination. So you don't need one spiritual and one ritual to activate Ritual Beast's Bond and fuse them together. You can fuse 2 spirituals or 2 ritual beasts.
Yeah, because Ritual Beast's Bond specifically ignores the summon condition, correct? Of
That's
the fusion monster?
correct.
Yeah.
So he goes for Petalfin here.
Petalfin can't be destroyed by card effects. You can see that he's thinking about the Regekis and the Dark Holes.
Yeah. I think we would have seen a lot more plays had that Maxi not been chained to the Ritual Beast Bond. Then he might have gone for the Canahawk, split it back up, gone for something else. Yeah.
Tour Guide from the Underworld, probably the best draw that, or maybe not the best, but
pretty
close
good
to
one.
the best draw. Because the Sir one, or the Skarm will destroy itself when the Tour Guide summons. So effectively, like a Burning Abyss might have just been as good as that Tour Guide, but it will still. It was most definitely one of the better cards he could have drawn. Does Soto have no cards in hand?
Correct.
Oh, geez.
He had to play all of them to do that.
Looks like he's not in great shape, but how do you destroy that Petalfin?
It's gargantuan, and he can just split it up.
2,800 defense?
2,800 defense can't be destroyed by card effects.
I guess he could summon Acid Golem.
Knowing that Henson had searched Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss, I guess Petalfin's the best option there. I guess he could get Farfa. Fire for the Middle Branch Burning Abyss, banish it temporarily, but that doesn't necessarily do too much either, right? Because you just get away for a turn, deal some damage, and then it comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
Dante comes down. 3 cards sent to the graveyard. Fire Lake, Rubik, and the Graph that was detached from Dante.
So how scary is this Petalfin surviving for a turn? What can Soto possibly do? Is he able to...
If this survives, he can start swapping it out and going for ulti Canahawks and building his hand back up.
Yeah. I think if you do summon the number 30 Acid Golem to try to destroy Petalfin, he'll be able to split them up, and you'll only be able to destroy one of the 2 components with your one number 30. So even then, Soto would be able to draw the other piece he needs to summon a fusion monster and start looping Canahawk effects.
And that's why we haven't seen him do it. He doesn't want to lock himself out of special summons for something that is a temporary solution at best.
Yeah. One thing I don't think I realized about the Ritual Beast deck until this weekend is how scary leaving a monster face up is.
Yes. That's why the removal is so important. You've got to clear that board every single turn.
But even then, they're like, because the monsters can break up, right, and split, some removal isn't even that effective against them.
Right.
Yeah.
Any removal that targets the monster is essentially useless because they'll just dodge it.
Yeah.
Dante's activated and
breakthrough skill.
Breakthrough skill.
Along with Libic and
that could be good depending on whether he has a card that destroys Petalfin. He'll force the Petalfin to defuse.
No, he can't use the breakthrough skill on the same turn that it was sent to the graveyard.
Okay.
Also, the Petalfin breaking parts cost, right? So it's the same thing as before, where you can't really chain it.
But once those 2 monsters are back on the field, they're vulnerable. They don't have Petalfin's protection. So
I see. So you start off by trying to activate the breakthrough skill, forcing him to break it up, and then that makes more sense.
He hits 2 Burning Abyss 2 breakthrough skills there.
Oh,
And a Farfa, so
Farfa takes the Pedalfin out temporarily, and Henson's able to fit 5,000 damage through at the time. That puts him very close to winning without Soto being able to do much of anything.
Yeah, the scariest thing about Burning Abyss putting you below 2,000 is Nightmare Shark.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's so easy for them to make, and so many times I can deal with their whole field, but they have 2 monsters in hand, and they just Nightmare Shark me, and the game's over because they hit me down so low.
Even scarier now that that barrier is raised up to 29 if one of them is Barber.
Yeah. I mean, even if they have a couple more Burning Abyss monsters, they can do the Nightmare Shark Acid Golem combo to deal 3,000, and then with Barber, that's 39. So that's a lot of damage if they have the full combo to pull it off.
oh, Pedalfin is back, and it looks like Soto has a Canahawk and a Max C in his hand. He could probably do a lot this turn, right?
Assuming you can get past whatever traps.
Yeah, depending on
the
Henson's
field.
back rows. Actually, one of those is a Fire Lake, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah.
Which means he's pretty much lost.
He
If he splits that
does-
Pedalfin apart,
Yeah,
all the,
everything
you know,
will be
everything's
destroyed.
gone.
Yeah, he gets caught pretty bad. Unless, I guess you could, no. How many copies of that Bond card?
Just
is he
one.
using? Just a single
Usually
copy?
one.
Oh, because
Yeah.
you can search it with the Canahawk?
Yeah, it's easily searchable.
He activates breakthrough skill to try to bait out the Pedalfin.
Okay, so now he's in a tough position, and I don't know if Henson's bluffing here. I didn't see the card he drew, but this is actually a kind of a cool bluff because you can force your opponent to try to split it apart.
Now he activates the Fire Lake, knowing that he's going to get multiple Dante effects.
So that's what ends up happening. Whether he split it apart or not, all of his monsters are destroyed. Because if he split it apart, the 2 he special summoned would be destroyed.
Well,
instead of
it
the
targets. So the 2 that he summoned would be safe.
No, I'm saying, so I assume what he did was activate the breakthrough skill.
Right.
And then Soto was faced with the decision of letting it resolve or splitting his monsters apart.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then at that point, whether he has 2 monsters or 3 monsters on the field, Fire Lake is going to wipe them
Yeah,
all out.
understood, because breakthrough skill will negate the other effect as well. 2
Correct.
split up if it resolves. Max C activated. Dante is special summoned back, and now Fire Lake and Seer are added back. So does that 1,000.
I guess Soto's just giving a look through the graveyard, getting as much information as he can before the next game. No reason to concede. At this point in the North American World Championship qualifier, you want as much of an edge as you can get. So there's no reason to concede early. Just take your time, get a bunch of information. Maybe not this much, sitting there for that long, but
Checking the traps, looking
Yeah.
to see how many Max Cs there are, how many breakthrough skills were there. You could see him pick out Fire Lake there.
Yeah.
He's trying to gauge how many copies of it have been played.
yeah.
So he knows he has at least 2, because 1 was just added back and 1's in the graveyard. But the attack from Dante connects, and Henson evens the score. Things worked out a lot better
Yes.
this time around
So-
without Macrocosmos on the
Yeah.
field.
This match is moving on to a 3rd and final duel that will determine who advances to the top 8.
Now this one is particularly important because if you win this duel, you basically get 2 shots to get your ticket to the World Championship. Once you're at the quarterfinal round, everybody who wins that round will automatically get their invitation and continue on to play for the title. But the 4 who lose will play off against each other, and the 2 winners from that group will also receive invitations to the World Championship.
That's how I qualified for Worlds. I actually lost in my top 8, and I was able to win my playoff for it. Michael, when did you make top 4 when you qualified? Oh yeah, because it was only top 4 qualified.
Yes, when I went to Worlds, you had to top 4 to get there.
Yeah, that was back.
because-
Canada had
Yes.
qualifiers. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Right. Ever since we've merged into the Continental,
Mhm.
the actual overall number of invitees has increased
yeah, by
from
1.
5 to 6.
Yeah.
And actually,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually wind up with the same general spread.
Yeah, roughly.
Usually, 4 or 5 from the United States, 1
Yeah.
or 2 from Canada.
It's always nice to see that variety.
Just you get one much bigger tournament instead
Yeah.
of a pretty big one and,
And
a
then,
little one.
yeah.
Do we know if we have any Canadian duelists in the top 8? Top 16, rather?
I'm unsure.
I don't know offhand.
Yeah, neither do I know. None stood out to me as like players like Boateng or Matt Van Heuvel, names that I recognize more so that are Canadian. I didn't see any of those, but I'm sure there's probably at least one among those that top cut. But I guess when we go into the top 8, we'll do a little more in-depth of a check on that.
We'll see as the tournament progresses whether or not the trend continues. And
So
1 or 2 Canadians each year.
yeah, what deck would you say has the best matchup against Ritual Beast among the popular strategies?
Among the popular strategies? Ooh. was going to say anything that can run Imperial Iron Wall and not care.
Okay.
But that's generally after the first duel,
Yeah.
where you'll be able to put that in.
Yeah, just so I guess strictly speaking about like game one, the inherent aspects of your deck, what deck do you think works the best against it? Or what deck do you think can effectively deal with what they're trying to do?
Well, it would be whatever deck can wipe out all their monsters the fastest and the most frequently. And in that case, I think it would be Burning Abyss.
Yeah, with an explanation like that, I would most definitely say Burning Abyss. So,
I've been told from Ritual Beast players that Cliff Forts are not easy to beat.
oh, that makes sense because of all the
easy either with all the traps.
yeah, lose one turn is pretty good against just about everything.
Yes.
So.
You can slide an Imperial Iron Wall.
Yeah.
Now let's see you do your tricks.
So
Yeah.
Cliff Forts have a lot of cards that can
Yeah.
shut down Ritual Beasts. So if you're looking, if you play at a local where there are lots of Ritual Beast duelists, you might consider using Cliff Forts.
Yeah, Burning Abyss has the raw destructive abilities, but Cliff Fort Carrier, in particular, and Stealth
Oh yeah.
can be combined to
Stealth.
kick all of the
Yeah.
cards off the field without letting your opponent chain to it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. No. Clifford has to be the hardest matchup because stealth making because your opponent can't respond to stealth and then they can't respond to the Clifford monsters you tribute beforehand because their chain links go before. I could easily see that just being the bane of a Ritual Beast player's existence on top of cards like Lose Return. So.
And one difference is, after they pendulum summon all their Cliff Forts, you have an opportunity to activate Ritual Beast Seeds and have it resolve successfully.
Okay.
But with Fire Lake, if it was already down and you don't Ritual Beast Seeds like instantaneously, they might just get you anyways and chain it.
That looks like a, well, so depending on who goes first, that looks like kind of a rough hand for Soto. 4 monsters and Steeds.
Yeah, Henson also has Maxi, so even if he is going second,
Ooh,
yeah, that's
right.
going to put him.
Yeah,
Okay,
if Soto
so
were going first, he would have the Elder and the Canahawk. So I guess it wouldn't be the worst hand
Yeah,
to open up with.
Henson's
And he
hand is
does go
actually
first.
very, very good. Like, he has Maxi, Foolish Burial, Fire Lake already, a Fiend Griefing, and a Burning Abyss. So he can set up a Dante among a bunch of other stuff with Fire Lake already. And
So Soto starts things off with Ritual Beast Tamer Elder. He uses its effect for an additional normal summon to summon Spiritual Beast Canahawk. Now
Yeah, as soon as that resolves, Maxi is
Henson
activated.
activates Maxi, and I guess it's after Canahawk's effect resolves, right, to banish the Ritual Beast Tamer. And now all of a sudden, Soto is stopped dead in his tracks.
Has that Steeds, though, and that could keep him around long enough to
Yeah.
try again next turn.
That is correct, and that is likely what we're going to see here, it looks like, because I don't think he's going to continue.
He doesn't.
He proves me wrong here and now. He combines his Canahawk with his Tamer.
For the first time we've seen Ulti Canahawk, most likely.
Yeah, and he is going...
looks like Ulti Cannon. It
he's
seems
thinking
like
He
about
might be
it, yeah.
reconsidering. He might want to wall up with Ulti Petalfin
Mhm.
to try to ensure himself having monsters next turn.
I
But,
mean,
no,
adding
he's
ambush to your hand seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Here, right? Like giving your opponent one card to get an ambush seems
yeah.
like a more than a worthwhile trade, especially because you can split up and then use the Steeds then, right?
That's
like
right.
during your opponent's turn.
He
Yeah.
can end up splitting that up on his opponent's turn. So he only has to give his opponent one card.
Oh, but wait, to split up, you need 2 banished Ritual Beasts.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
so
true,
that's
yeah.
it.
That's
to
the
use
problem,
the effect of
yeah.
comment, I hate put it.
That's true. You
Yeah.
can't split up.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, if you use the Canahawk's effect and doesn't chain his own monster's effect.
So you'd actually have to use the ambush to get enough to get a lot of monsters. on
Yeah,
the
and to
field
play with
there.
Steeds, which doesn't necessarily seem
Yeah.
like the worst thing. Steeds seems so similar to Fire Lake now that I think about it more. It's just so.
Yep.
Yeah, certain decks, like when you know your opponent has Fire Lake, it's so hard to play around it unless you have an easy way to get rid of it, like Missile Space Typhoon. And Steeds seems so similar. And even though, like.
Steeds only destroys monsters, though, right?
Only monsters.
Oh,
So
yeah, okay, so that's.
Fire Lake
yeah.
is a little more versatile.
Ooh, Foolish
Yeah.
Burial's activated.
Yeah, I think the
He
one.
could just go get Farfa here.
No, he drew the one copy of Farfa.
Oh, he drew the Farfa.
Yeah.
Arr.
That is
That's
unfortunate.
rough.
Yep.
Wow.
That's kind of been the theme for Henson. Well, this hand is great, but I drew my one
Yeah.
this
Oh.
that I needed to not get.
It's okay. That makes his journey all the more interesting.
Especially if he pulls it off here.
Yeah.
His journey through the burning abyss.
Yep.
He is like the hero of our tale.
Foolish Burial
Dante.
for Graph. Pulls Seer out of the deck. He looks like he wants to special summon Skarm.
That looks like Farfa, right?
Oh, yeah, no, that is Farfa, sorry.
Why would you special summon Farfa when you can normal summon it and perhaps use its effect?
Maybe it's because he has a Mathematician in his hand, so he's trying to force out the ambush into Steeds
he's
now.
trying to do the Steeds right now.
Yeah, so that his Mathematician can do something better after. And because he'll have the Seer face up, so he'll be able to do something, hopefully.
Takes out the Farfa with Ritual Beast Steeds. That will result in no effect.
All right, since he special summoned it, no effect. So what do you think he's going to? He's going to normal summon the Mathematician, you think?
He's left himself the option to do so.
All right, but then the Sir will destroy itself.
Which can get back... Oh, I guess he doesn't even have Scarm in his grave yet.
Now, Canahawk's defense is 1,600, so Seer's not quite going to cut it here.
Right.
Yeah. He has Fiend Grief. I guess he can set up Fire Lake with the Fiend Griefing. He can Fiend Griefing in response. Does the Ritual Beast ambush target cards? Like, does it target which monsters you're special summoning?
I believe it does.
Okay, so then he can actually use Fiend Griefing to disrupt it, right? Does it have... If one of the monsters goes away, is he still able to... Oh, but it's during the end phase.
Yeah,
so
it's almost always going to be an end phase activation because you can only special summon each of the Ritual Beasts once per turn.
Yeah, it targets, but it's a special summon them, not a special summon both of them, only special summon those targets. So Fiend Griefing wouldn't be quite as hot there.
Yeah. I just received information that we actually have 2 Canadians in our top 16.
Excellent.
So,
all right,
most definitely still has a chance.
All right, so Canahawk and Ritual Beast Tamer Elder are back. And Soto's field is looking a lot healthier.
I still can't believe that Henson is only playing 1 copy of Farfa. That card seems very good against Necroz as a way to beat the Gen Releaser rituals and all that.
I kind of can't believe he... Well, actually, even if he normal summoned it and used its effect, even if he banished Canahawk, it would just come back, so...
Petalfin is created out of those 2 ritual monsters after banishing, it looks like, Lara. Oh no, it's Rampengu that was banished for Canahawk. And now Canahawk is going back to the extra deck to special summon, and Maxi is chained to it.
Oh,
so Canahawk and Elder go back to the field, and Rampengu goes to the graveyard. And now a Ritual Beast card will be searched out. 1 Steeds and 1 Ambush are gone so far.
I think this is the first time I've actually learned a deck that is considered to be competitive strictly from watching people play it. Because normally, you know, I'll go through and read all the cards, but I guess I just dismissed Ritual Beast because Necroz would have the same set. And then even Yosenju seemed like they were better than Ritual Beast at the time.
I love Ritual Beast because they're so colorful.
I think you're just a fan of fusion summoning without polymerization.
I do like that as well.
Fiend Griefing is activated, targeting that Rampengu in the graveyard. It's pretty good cutting off access to Rampengu since it's so important for loading up for your better cards.
That is true. Canahawk is very similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fiend Griefing is probably just one of the best cards Burning Abyss. And like the non-themed Burning Abyss cards, I think Fiend Griefing is very high up there in best cards for that deck. It seems so strong. Like Disruption that also lets you get your advantage going.
Artistically, it's a Fabled card.
Yeah.
Even.
I'm a big fan of Fabled Hinasha.
But you can also use it for Archfiend to send Archfiend Eris to the graveyard.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's actually really, really cool. It just seems like any card that can provide you with, like, so in Burning Abyss specifically, you get to send a Burning Abyss monster to do whatever with it, and then you have this upside, like, oh, in these situations you can disrupt your opponent.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, your revival card isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Your recursion's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And my strategy's going forward.
And there's, like, key points against Necroz where they try to Necroz Cycle or Necroz Mirror, and they need something very specific in their grave where you catch them, and it's just like, oh, man.
Yeah, if you actually get, like, a out of their graveyard.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're trying to, like, special summon their Trishula, or they have Jin, all these different ways. But it's such a cool card.
And it looks like Henson's playing 2. We had a feature match a couple rounds ago, which we saw 3 main deck copies.
Yeah, I think I would be very, very quick to include 3 and then go from there. It seems like such a powerful card to me. But maybe, nope, I'm not even going to second guess myself. I would most definitely try 3 and probably stick with 3. It just seems too powerful on the surface.
Graph was sent to the graveyard by Fiend Griefing, and that summons Scarm to the field,
letting him assemble the monsters necessary for Fire Lake.
And Soto looks like he picked up Ritual Beast Ambush with that Canahawk effect. It's not normal summoned yet. Looks like he wants to summon Apelio.
Oh, he does.
Apelio's quick effect lets you banish a Ritual Beast card to give all your monsters 500 extra attack points for the rest of the turn, including the ones that are summoned later on in the turn.
What's the base attack of Apelio?
I believe he starts at 1800.
That's unfortunate. If he had only had 100 more attack, he could fight his way over a Necros of Colossus in defense mode.
Spiritual Beast. Apelio has 1800 attack,
Yeah.
200 defense.
I was hoping that it was
It's not a fire monster, though. Sorry, Mike. It's not Macquarie Reborn.
Yeah.
No.
I was really hoping it was just Stellar Knight Rigel. Or very similar.
yeah.
Yeah, just I like that card. It's just a way to, you know, it's a Stellar Knight card. It's also an out to Eric can get over a Jinned Colossus. But so close yet so far.
Goes ahead and
For Apelio.
banishes another Apelio from the deck. I believe that's with Canahawk, since it reset when it was split back up. And now
There's
we
the
see the
Fire
Fire Lake. Goes 1, 2, 3 on the 2 Spiritual Beasts and the Elder. And in response, Ritual Beast Ambush is banished by the effect of Apelio.
Why does he banish that there? Is there some way to add back Ritual Beast cards that are banished?
Well, there are all sorts of ways to get Ritual Beast
Oh,
cards
man.
that are banished.
I assumed there was ways to special summon the monsters, but I didn't realize there was a way to add back the spells and traps.
I want to say that Ulti Canahawk can actually...
Oh, like put them back? Or?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Ulti Counterhawk can put them back into the graveyard.
Oh, okay, I see what you... Okay, no, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. He's just trying to set up so his Canahawk's better later.
Right. There are more things to send back. Skarm is special summoned back from the graveyard. Different from the
Farfa.
Skarm that was... No, that is Farfa.
Yeah.
Keep getting mixed. It's the wings. The wings are killing
Yeah.
me, man.
Yeah,
They're
the
killing me all
wings.
weekend.
They're most definitely very, very similar. Even the positioning, they're kind of like tilted to the right. Very similar looking.
There we see Tour Guide. So Tour Guide can self-destruct the Farfa to get the Petalfin out of the way.
It seems... I'm unsure... I don't know. Doing that now seems a little strange to me, I guess, because...
So we just heard an announcement for time in the round.
Okay,
So despite the
man.
fact that these guys have a bit of an extension,
Mhm.
time is now beginning to become a factor.
Okay, so that makes so much more sense. He's just going to try to press for damage, and then that Traveler is going to save him from taking a lot of damage, I assume, as well. If he's able to like set up a Dante with a couple, like a Burning Abyss for 200, how does what's the standard way that Ritual Beast just gets over monsters like that? Do they attack, or do they have a Spiritual Beast fusion that can bounce away?
Yeah, monsters
Steeds
like
just
Dante.
destroys them?
Yeah, you just have to try to wipe everything
I
out
see.
at
That's
once.
unfortunate. That makes Traveler so much better. in
That's
this
one of the
matchup then.
things that makes this a rough matchup for it, is if they don't have the Dimensional Fissure or the Macrocosmos,
Yeah, Steeds doesn't do that much. Oh,
you
man.
just get all the cards back.
Yeah.
And some of them even come to the field. Tour Guide into Graph, Farfa sent to the graveyard. And its target will be Petalfin.
I wonder how many times you can bar with one bar.
Oh,
When you hit time, you know what I mean? Like getting
Yeah.
back with Surge a couple times and
There's the
Traveler
Flying
too.
Sea.
Miguel Soto had Flying Sea to prevent the follow-up Sea summons.
That is unfortunate. Oh, but and you can't break through skill your own monsters, right? Only Fiendish Chain can negate the effects of your own monsters.
I think that's correct.
Oh boy. I remember when Flying Sea was very, very popular. What was it? Majesty's Fiend and Vanity's Fiend were also very popular. They were like
Yes.
answers to Flying Sea, in addition to also being very good against Burning Abyss, which was like one of the, if not the most popular deck at the time. But now I think Flying Sea has just seen such little play that they don't really consider it the same way as they used to. But the graph's negated, so it's not going to be destroyed by Flying Sea.
Right.
So, yeah.
And
We have confirmation breakthrough skill only negates the effects of opponent's monsters.
Yeah.
Henson got 2,000 damage in there. Petalfin comes back, and Ritual Beast Ambush drops 2 monsters back onto the field. And the good thing here is Apelio has the way it's one of those staggered effects, I believe. Expect that to be certain.
Staggered in what way?
One of the lasts until the end of the next.
Oh.
Oh no, it's for the rest of this turn.
Okay.
Okay. Never
But
mind.
does it boost all your ritual?
But it boosts all of them.
Yes.
And if he can keep banishing it and bringing it back, he can use its effect each time
Okay.
it comes back to get enough damage through to maybe put the game out of reach. feel like in a protracted game here, Henson might have a shot, but having a flying C there was really brutal.
Yeah, especially catching him right there when he has only 2,000 attack monsters in play, especially if they're so close to time. Like just being able to get it in some damage and then wall up with monsters like Pedalfin.
Right.
Yeah, it might spell doom for Henson.
And
We'll
he
see
can't
what happens.
he can't get to the 2 Burning Abyss monsters needed to even play a Fire Link.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he can actually. He can play Alec.
Oh, Alec to negate the...
not Alec.
no,
Liebig.
Alec. Alec is... Or Liebig, too. Can Alec negate the effect of your own monsters?
Doesn't particularly matter in this case
Yeah,
because he hasn't
doesn't
done
use
it.
Alec in his deck,
okay.
but he can play summon Liebig. Liebig will self-destruct. He can special summon a new Burning Abyss from his hand, which it will have its effect negated, and then he'll have 2 on the field for Burning Abyss, for a Fire Link.
All right.
Yeah, but it seems
So
like...
Ritual Beast Tamer Lara has been normal summon.
But that's
here.
clearly not happening.
Yeah.
It's been hit with Breakthrough Skill, and Mystical Space Typhoon is chained to take out the last unknown card.
It was a
Traveler.
Traveler.
It was Traveler.
Which actually would have probably been pretty good here, because if Soto is trying to destroy the whole field, try to get in a bunch of damage if it's so close to time, probably doing some Canahawk
Right. You'd have to
shenanigans.
take out the
Flying C, yes,
C.
and that Graph would
Yeah.
probably get a Sir, which would get something else. So then during the end phase, or still during battle, he could have traveled for probably 3 Burning Abyss monsters.
I would expect that he's not destroying that Flying C until he's won the game,
Yeah.
or at least secured so many cards that he's unlikely to lose.
So how many times they can do the Canahawk combo? Is that depending on how many banished monsters they have, basically?
Right. You
Okay.
can only special summon each of the basic Ritual Beast and Spiritual Beast monsters once per turn.
Okay.
So that's why you need to get as many different names as possible.
Oh,
So
okay.
that you can keep
that
doing
makes a
the
lot of
Canahawk
sense.
combo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Soto's really rocking up the cards. I think we might see a properly summoned Ulti Gaia Pelio.
His opponent does appear to have... No, he's only got 1 card in hand. Rampengu is the card taken by Canahawk's ability. And then basic Canahawk banishes Ritual Beast Tamer. Looks like it was when. But it could have been the Apelio. He's got so many banished piles that it's hard to tell which one is for what. It's probably a lot easier when you can actually talk to the other person and
Yeah,
explain to
sure.
them how they're doing this.
Yes.
It seems like Soto has it down, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it looks like he's going to keep summoning the Canahawk to get as many cards as he can. After that, I think I'd summon Ulti Gaia Pelio, because he's completely out-carded Henson.
And Ulti Gaia Pello is the souped-up Heraclinos for...
Yes,
That's
the one.
He's basically Ritual Beast version of the Gladiator Beast card, Gladiator Beast Heraclinos, but he could also negate monster effects.
And it's by discarding a Ritual Beast card, or is
I
it
believe
just
it's
one per turn?
banishing a Ritual Beast
Banishing
card.
from your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Second Canahawk targets that Ritual Beast ambush that was banished earlier, along with Apelio. And then it splits back up into the Apelio and Wen, sending the ambush back to the graveyard and allowing it another search. This time it's Ritual Beast Tamer Zephyr Pelica. And now time is officially run out. After this turn, there will be 3 more. That means that Henson will get 2 of the additional turns, Soto 1.
So Henson is currently up by 2,000 life points, but Soto can actually deal more than 2,000 points of damage just by summoning Ulti Gaia
A
Pelio
significant number of damage.
and attacking the Tour Guide.
He can probably summon multiple Apelios and attack both the Tour Guide and the Graph and just leave the Flying C.
He can do that as well. That seems like a very reasonable play.
Soto combines all
All
3
right.
of his monsters. Nope, it looks like he's going with your idea.
Yes! This is what I've been waiting for. I haven't seen a properly summoned Ulti Gaia Pelio
Neither
this
have I,
weekend.
so I'm excited as well.
I think this actually locks up the win for him.
And there it is. Ritual Beast Ulti Gaia Pelio, when summoned in the proper way by banishing a Ritual Beast Ulti monster, a Ritual Beast Tamer, and a Spiritual Beast, gains the ability to negate any card or effect activated by your opponent by banishing a Ritual Beast card from your hand.
So he already has 3 Ritual Beast cards in his hand, and Soto doesn't even have that many cards.
And that one attack alone more than evens up the score.
Is Ulti Gaia Paleo able to negate the second effective breakthrough skill when it's banished from the grave? Or-
I don't know.
That's a
I
good
don't think
question.
it is.
Yeah, that card actually just might be. Yeah.
During either player's turn, when a spell/trap card or a monster effect is activated.
Oh, so breakthrough skill does get around it. The second
Yeah.
effect does. Oh man, I wonder if Soto realizes. Oh, but I guess the flying sea hinders him.
Is there a breakthrough skill in his graveyard?
Yes, there's for sure at least one,
All
if
right.
not more.
I don't like my play anymore.
Well, he's got Barber. That's not a bad thing to have just picked up, but it'll just get...
How much attack does
Not
Guy
quite
Paleo
enough.
have?
Guy Paleo is 32.
So how much would it take if he decided to run that flying sea in there? Oh, I guess he can't even because he can split it up. Can Guy Paleo split up?
No,
like that?
no.
Gaia Paleo cannot split up. He's
Okay.
much like
No.
Heracles.
Yeah, so can't even
But
contact
he'd also
out.
have to crash the tour guide to
Well, he
get
has
anything on the field.
Mathematician. So, like, he can go switch the Flying Sea, attack into the Gaia Paleo. Mathematician send Libic. Libic special summons the Barbar, its effects negated, and then try to mill with Dante's to see if he can hit a Graph or a Sur and see if he can get going. But you're right in that I'm not sure if Henson is long for this tournament.
Yeah, that is a tremendous long shot.
He just has to not get all of the stuff negated. But the problem is the number of cards, new cards he has access to is 2. There are 3 cards over there. So he'd have to bait something out, use the breakthrough skill, and hope.
Oh, and Dimensional Fissure, just in case the Gaia Paleo was not enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just in case.
Yeah. He does have that breakthrough skill. I know he used one earlier from his graveyard. Are
One
we sure he
banished
has
one
another
earlier?
one?
No, he's yet to use a breakthrough skill from his grave. He's for sure used a breakthrough skill.
Ah,
I'm pretty sure.
maybe I'm mistaken.
I'm 100% there's at least one breakthrough skill because when he fanned it out, I saw one.
Okay.
Yeah. How it got there, we may never know, but there's most definitely one there.
The regular Canahawk's Apelio goes back to Soto's hand, and he activates Dimensional Fissure. Rampengu is summoned next.
Do you think there's a possibility that Hansen actually doesn't know that breakthrough skill can get around Gaia Paleo, or do you think that just because his options aren't even that great anyway? I guess.
Right. We don't know for sure whether or not he knows that, since even if he does not know that, he probably wouldn't have done it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, basically the one thing that he maybe could have done was, summon Barber, have it explode, breakthrough skill your guy, and then try to draw Seer and do it again and hope that the second breakthrough skill is still in my graveyard and it wasn't from last game.
Seems like a lot of hope.
There's a lot of hoping.
I mean, he can just
involved
look
here.
at his graveyard to find that out.
Yeah.
But here comes another ulti Canahawk, so it looks like Henson is just going to keep falling further behind.
Yeah, he's going to probably get a Ritual Beast Deeds here to make absolutely sure
Yeah.
that nothing can go wrong.
I'm trying to think if there's a way for him.
Oh, he got Bond. Interesting.
Maybe he's trying to just seal the. This might be his last turn.
Yes, this is
Okay.
Soto's last turn.
Okay, so,
So
if
maybe he's just
Henson
dealing
has
some
one
damage.
more turn, I can try to
Oh.
imagine a scenario in which he's able to summon Barbar twice.
You can only use Barbar.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
once
okay.
per turn.
Yeah.
But can it Bond summon the
Never
Gaia
mind.
Paleo? Can Bond summon Gaia Paleo and then can it use its effect?
It
can't
can't use its
use the
effect.
effect.
when you summon
Okay.
it.
I was going to say that maybe he realized, breakthrough skill's in the graveyard, and then if he breakthroughs, he can Bond and then summon another one. But yeah, Bond would be. I'm sure Bond would be a 3 of if you could summon Gaia Paleo.
Yeah, with
or
the
Ulti
effect,
Gaia,
Yeah,
absolutely.
use any 2 of your monsters.
Yeah, and then that's it.
And that'll do it. Henson realizes that he's got nothing left on his own turn.
Jeez.
And Miguel Soto is advancing to the world's qualifying round.
Yes, with his Ritual Beast deck.
Taking a 2-1 victory. Ritual Beasts have made it to the top 8. We'll find out what else is there and who else is there soon enough. That was pretty exciting that we don't really get a chance to see this many non-Necroz decks, actually. It's been kind of crazy the way that it just keeps not showing up. But we've gotten a lot of great matchups out of it. So
Ritual Beasts have had a surprisingly strong showing in this tournament.
Yeah,
It seems.
I believe there was 3 in the top 64, which was equal with Shadal. I think it was the
Three in-
tied for 4th most represented.
So 3 in the top 64 isn't that many decks, but there's at least 2 in the top 16.
I think there actually might be 2 in the top 8. I heard that
Might be 2 in the
Jarrell
top 8.
Winston has actually moved on to top 8 as well. But we'll get better confirmation on that later.
not bad. We'll
So-
find out more
yeah.
about that. But everybody at home, sit tight. Round 10 replay from today. Day 2 is coming up next. Don't go away.